Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Call me Stained because holy shit. It's been a while. Today, I'd like to talk to you about one of my favorite kinds of minigames in video games. Fishing!
Fishing is an ancient practice that dates back at least 40,000 years. Archaeology features, such as discarded fish bones and cave paintings, show that seafood was important for survival and consumed in significant quantities.
Alright, this is boring. Yeah, and it goes on for like another 8 minutes. So, instead of having you sit through my entire history of fishing section, how's about I move into the reasons as to why I chose fishing as a topic? Fishing has always just been a part of my life. You see, when I was younger, my dad had a boat, and every other weekend we would go up to that boat and spend the weekend up at Lake Michigan. And there were only 3 things we would ever really do up there. We'd either just drive around on the boat, go tubing, or we'd go fishing. So fishing has always just been something that has been a part of my life, despite the fact that I don't like fishing in real life. But that's about the long and short of it. So before we jump into which games I will be talking about, I should probably set up the criteria that I will be listing them on before we actually get into the meat of the video. So the 4 different levels I will be ranking them on come from the fun, the interactivity, the usefulness, and the aesthetic of the game. Yes, all of these are very subjective, but I mean, hey, if you didn't want to hear my opinions, then why are you on this video? Feel free to leave, but please don't. I love you. I'll be giving them a 1 through 5 rating and, just basically be going on from there and giving them a number score out of 20 when they pop up. Again, this is going to be rather subjective and I've never really done a video like this, so hey, let's hope that it turns out great and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, with that introduction out of the way, how's about we head into the list, and the first game. Terraria. I fucking love Terraria. I've always fucking loved Terraria, and despite there being so much to do in Terraria, I'm going to be talking about the fishing. Now, for the fun rating of this game, the fishing is... well, I mean, it's not exactly the most complex. I still do think it's pretty fun. I wouldn't say I absolutely hate it. It's not something that I struggle to bring myself to do. I do enjoy the fishing in Terraria, and so I've given it a 4 out of 5. It's enjoyable, and I think that'll lead into the topic of its interactivity, which I gave a 2. Because, if we're being honest, you're just casting and then pulling. Casting and then pulling. Casting and then pulling. It can be very repetitive. It's definitely not a real brain tickler when it comes to the interactivity department. I mean, much like real fishing, there is a lot of waiting that you can do. Oh god, is there a lot of waiting? But the wait is usually worth it because as we mosey on over to its usefulness, there are so many good items you can fish up in Terraria. At least before the Journey's End update came and fucking broke the legs of the Reaver Shark, turning it from one of the best pre-hard mode pickaxes in the game into, well, I mean, it still skips some levels, but it's definitely not we start fishing at the beginning of the game so we can get the best pickaxe in the early game and completely skip most of that grind. And while you are going to be skipping grind, it's not as much as it used to be. But hey, who needs that when the vibe while you're fishing is just calm. I love it. It is some of the most chill gameplay I've ever had in Terraria. Especially if you're like a summoner. I love the summoner class. I don't care if it's good, it's bad. I fucking love the fact that I can just summon something, but I'm getting way off topic. But yeah, no, just pop your summon outside a door, build over the ocean, and just go fishing. It's really relaxed, and I do enjoy it. So we're starting off this list on a pretty high note, all things considered. I mean, 16's like fucking immaculate. But let's move on from something that's 2D into a more 3D space, huh? Final Fantasy and fishing. There were so many games that I could have been talking about, and I chose the Final Fantasy series to be represented in this, or rather specifically, Final Fantasy 15. I did want to go for 12, but I couldn't figure out how to get to the place to fish. I'm bad at the game, I haven't beaten it, and honestly, I don't even know what the fishing looks like in Final Fantasy 12. While I was doing my research on this video, like looking through all the games that I owned to see like what did and didn't have a fishing minigame, Final Fantasy 12 was not what I expected to be on that list. So how's about I talk about the one where it's kind of integral to the main character? Kind of. Like, it's what they specialize in. Final Fantasy 15. Oh boy. When was the last time you fished in Final Fantasy 15? Because I know that I never willingly did it until I beat the game. Noctis loves fishing, and I didn't fish until I beat the game. I actively probably took more photos in the game by telling Prompto, hey yo, let me take care of the pictures, instead of actually fishing. But I would say that the overall fun of the fishing it's pretty average. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not dog awful. It's just a neat little distraction, as a fishing minigame should be. It's not required for anything, so its usefulness is quite low, and oh, would you look at that, I have already broken the structure of this video. I went from fun to usefulness without at all talking about its interactivity, which I rank at a 5, because, I mean, come on, you have to actively pay attention and interact, and you've got to use the right bait and the right lure and the right body of water to catch the big fish, and it's more thinking than I want to do when I'm going fishing in a minigame. It's not the kind of fun distraction that I want, but it is a distraction. And overall, the aesthetic of Final Fantasy 15, while I do enjoy it in most places, especially when I get here, holy shit, the fucking lead up to this city was, oh my god, I fucking think this is one of the most beautiful towns I've seen in gaming. I fucking love this place. Damn shame what Leviathan did to it. But overall, I think there are better games in which I enjoy the aesthetic while fishing, and this is, while it's up there, it's definitely not topping any of my lists. So, Final Fantasy 15. I give it an 11 out of 20. It's pretty middle of the road when it comes to its fishing minigame. And yeah, no, I think that's about accurate. But you didn't think I'd just talk about Final Fantasy 15 and just walk away from the series entirely? Nah, we're going into 14 now, baby. I cannot explain why I love the fishing in Final Fantasy XIV. I genuinely cannot. It's less interactive, it's more fun, its utility is probably just about as useful, if not a bit more useful than 15, and its aesthetic, well, 15 can't compare. I just have no idea why this game's fishing minigame resonates with me so deeply. Now, as I mentioned, I don't know how useful it is. You see this? See this little thing here? Yeah, no, Final Fantasy XIV people will look at me in pure disgust if I still have this thing. Which, I mean, it has been probably about 6 or 7 months since I got this footage, and yeah, no, that little sprout's still there, so, yeah, do with that info as you will. But overall, I just enjoy fishing in Final Fantasy XIV way more than I do 15, and I cannot put it into words as to why. I just genuinely enjoy 14's fishing. I would go out of my way while just doing side quests, not because I didn't want to do the quest, but just because I just wanted a quick break to go fishing. It's a really chill, relaxed experience, and sometimes you get to see some cool shit somewhere, and sometimes you get to see some funny shit somewhere, like this interaction I had while trying to get footage of me fishing. This shit will not happen in any other Final Fantasy game while you're fishing, I guarantee. It probably won't happen in any other game on this list while you're fishing, unless, like, someone decides to summon Duke Fishron while you're trying to fish in hard mode in Terraria. But beyond that, I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay, 3D talk over. Let's get back to some beautiful pixels. I'll admit it, I don't think I am a massive fan of Stardew Valley. I do enjoy playing it from time to time, but farming games have never been my forte. Seriously, like, okay, hold on, let me go off on a side tangent here pretty quickly. Growing up, one of my siblings, who was no longer my sibling, she had gotten for her birthday Harvest Moon, It's a Wonderful Life, and she loved it. I hated it, and when she and her dad eventually moved out, she forgot the game, so it was just mine then. And I lost my PS2 memory card growing up, which means anytime I wanted to play a game, I had to start over. Fine for like a few games, but that game's introduction is so fucking long. It would take me like a part of my morning just to get to the part where I am out of tutorials. There is so much like introduction to this fucking game, and I hate it. The only thing I think I like about the game is its music, and that's just because this farm music is so deeply ingrained into my psyche. It triggers a fight or flight. It brings me back to that time of being a child and not having a memory card and just wanting to see if this game was good. But yeah, no, farming games have never really been my cup of tea. Stardew Valley isn't really any different. I don't really partake much in what Stardew brings to the table. My farms are pretty basic. I rarely go into the mines. I'll talk to people, but if I'm playing Stardew, you're going to find me fishing. I will be fishing. I think the fun in Stardew is just fishing. It is the first stat I max out. It is the only stat I have maxed out. I never play Stardew long enough to max out anything else. I max my fishing before anything else. Like, the minigame itself ain't, like, amazing, but it ain't terrible. It's just fun enough and just video gamey enough for me to look at it and have a good time while not actually enjoying the rest of the game. I mean, there's some cool characters, I like the cast. I just don't care enough about the game to actually get to know about them. So yeah, fun and interactivity, yeah, those are just like perfect marks on both of them. And as for its usefulness, I mean, I don't think fishing is the most effective way to make money, but the fact that I can go fishing and still make money means that I put its usefulness pretty far up there, because, I mean, it's not like I'm not making progress. I'm just not a farmer. I was born a fisherman, Daddy. I want to go fishing. I want to go out in the high seas and cast my rod and catch me a biggin. Sorry, what was I talking about? Right, and then the final ranking for aesthetics, again, it's pretty middle of the road. It's pretty average when it comes to its aesthetics. The music does a lot of the heavy lifting, in my opinion, and that's not a bad thing. There's some games with really, really great soundtracks, and that's like the only redeemable part about them. Not saying that's Stardew, but that can be the case for a lot of games. Stardew is a good game with good characters and good mechanics that I don't enjoy. But the fishing gets high marks from me. And sadly, it's not the best fishing minigame on this list, because I saved the best for last. This is Phenotopia. It was a Flash game that got a console release, and with that console release, it was basically remade from the ground up with a completely bit of a different structure here. And when I saw this game first on the PlayStation Store like a few years ago, I nearly pissed myself. This was one of those games that I played a lot growing up, but I could never remember the name because, I mean, fucking look at it. And if you go to my Twitch channel, no, this is not a plug, I do not stream, but if you go to my Twitch channel and you look at the clips, there's a few clips from this game.
Master platformer here. This won't even be a problem. Ah, shit. Ah, damn it. Hey, I almost made it.
So this game, its gameplay, I don't know what the hell its gameplay would actually be called when put into an actual genre, but it is one of those games that I throw in the camp of, this is a Zelda 2 clone, with a top-down overworld, enemies on the overworld, run into them, you get brought into a combat arena where you fight them, or you can just run the fuck away. And I love these kinds of games because they are, like, just simple. They're not bad, they're not terrible. I fucking love these kinds of games, and without Zelda 2, we would have never had these kinds of games. But how's it fish? Okay, I'm just going to... Do you see this? Do you see the score? The only thing I didn't give it perfect marks in is its fun factor, and that's because Stardew did it best. Now, I don't hate the fishing in this game. In fact, if Stardew weren't on the list, I'd probably be giving it a 5 out of 5, and this game would have a perfect score. But I enjoy Stardew's fishing on a level that is just significantly higher than this game. And if this game's fun factor for the fishing, yeah, try saying that 5 times fast, is almost, if not on par with that, then I think that speaks volumes about this. And yes, I know I gave Terraria's fishing fun factor a 4 out of 5 as well. And honestly, I think it's just a difference in what kind of game it is. In a game like Terraria, the simplicity of the fishing is what makes the fun factor so high. It's simple because it doesn't need to be anything else. It fits perfectly within the scope of the game. This game has a cooking minigame. That is pretty fun because I like rhythm games, and that's essentially all it is just a rhythm game. The fishing minigame is just perfect. You just, line this shit up, and it'll occasionally flip your directions, so you just line the shit up, but in reverse. It's so simple, yet effective, and if I had to make a top 3 list of my favorite fishing in video games, it would definitely make that. Hold on. Give me a second to think. What would be my top 3 of fishing in video games? Okay. Here's my top 3. Ocarina of Time, Stardew, Phenotopia. That's it. Fight me. Now, fun and interactivity go hand in hand usually within this list for me. And one place that this shines even further isn't its fun or its interactivity, but it comes from the utility of why you fish. As mentioned, there's a cooking minigame. You can cook food to make it heal better. And guess what cooks? Fish, baby. Fucking fish. Out of healing items and don't want to run back to town or take a chance that a pig will drop some meat? Fuck the pig. Fuck meat. Go fishing. Get you a couple of fish. Cook them up. There's always going to be a fire pit around, if not in the same area as where you're fishing. Bada bing, bada boom, your stomach's gonna be full of fish. Just don't get mercury poisoning. And the fucking aesthetic in this game, oh my fucking god, I don't think I can put it into words. So here, just watch this clip. This game needs a lot of love. I want to see a cult following from the masses on this game. This game is fucking amazing, and because of what it is, it's also fucking cheap. Seriously, either get this game or go listen to the soundtrack or Do something. This game needs all the love. I think this game is just fantastically overlooked. But I think that'll do it mostly for the list. That's all the games I really wanted to talk about. I could probably talk about a few other games in another video if this one's enjoyable and you want to hear me talk about more games I own and rank their fishing, or if you want to hear me talk about other aspects weird in games that, no one's really is going to talk about. And that should about wrap everything up. So I'd like to thank you all for watching, and you know what to do. This is the part of the video where you know what to do. Come on, it's free. It's free.